There is a person you know who makes about the same money you do, same job tier, same zip code more or less, and somehow when you stand next to them, you feel broke. Nothing in your bank account changed, but your gut tells you that you are losing. I want to show you exactly who installed feeling in your head and why it has almost nothing to do with your actual numbers. Because here is the strange part. You are probably doing fine, maybe better than fine, and you still feel behind. That is not weakness. That is not you being shallow. That is a machine running in your brain that somebody figured out how to monetize over 100 years ago. Let me name the thing. The feeling of being behind is not measured against the truth. It is measured against a reference group. That is a fancy phrase for the small handful of people your brain has quietly decided are the scoreboard. Researchers call them your reference group. You call them your friends. And the cruel trick is that this reference group is tiny. It is not the whole country. It is not the billionaires. It is roughly the 5 people you spend the most time near. Their cars, their kitchens, their vacations, their casual mention of the thing they just bought. That is your benchmark, whether you agree to it or not. So you can be in the top 20% of earners in your entire country and feel poor. Not because you are poor, because the 5 people closest to you happen to be in the top 10. Your brain does not see the country, it sees the dinner table. And once you see this clearly, you cannot unsee it. The dread you feel scrolling at 11 at night is not information about your life. It is information about who you are standing next to. Hold that thought, because the history here is wild. Let us go back to 1899. An economist named Thorstein Veblen publishes a book called The Theory of the Leisure Class. And he names something that everybody felt but nobody had words for. He calls it conspicuous consumption. Here is what Veblen noticed. America had this brand new middle class. People with a little money for the first time. And they did not spend it quietly. They spent it visibly. The point of the purchase was not the thing. The point was that the neighbors could see the thing. Veblen's whole argument was that a huge chunk of what people buy is not for use. It is for signal. You are not buying a watch to tell time. You are buying it to tell other people something about you. That was true in 1899. And it is true in your group chat tonight. Now jump forward to the 1950s. Post-war America, suburbs everywhere, new houses lined up in neat little rows, and a phrase takes over the culture, keeping up with the Joneses. The Joneses being the family next door, with the slightly nicer car in the slightly nicer driveway. That phrase actually comes from an old newspaper comic strip that started around 1913. But it explodes in the 50s for a reason. Suburbia put strangers of similar income right next to each other and gave them a perfect line of sight into each other's stuff. The lawn, the grill, the second car. So follow the timeline. 1899, Veblen names the signal. 1950s, the suburbs weaponized the next door comparison. This is not new. Benchmarking yourself against the people nearest you is a century-old engineered trap. And the engineering only got better because the Joneses used to be one family next door. You saw them maybe twice a day. Now the Joneses are 500 people in your phone, posting their highlight reel all day forever. The mechanism is ancient. The volume got turned up to a level no human nervous system was built for. Alright, let me ground this in real numbers, because the gap between how people feel and how they are actually doing is enormous. And I want to be honest about every figure I give you. In the United States, median household income is roughly $80,600, according to the most recent census figures. Median means the middle. Half of households earn more, half earn less. So if your household clears 6 figures, you are already above the middle of the entire country, comfortably. Median household net worth from the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances is somewhere in the neighborhood of $190,000. I am rounding. The exact figure moves, and a lot of that net worth is locked up in home equity. But the point stands. The typical household is not destitute, it is solidly in the middle. Now here is the number that should stop you. There was a famous study by an economist named Luttmer, titled Neighbors as Negatives. He found that when the people around you earn more, your own reported happiness goes down, even when your own income did not change at all. Read that again. Your neighbors getting a raise made you less happy, not because you lost anything. You lost nothing. You just got moved down the local rankings. The study suggested that a rise in your neighbor's income can drag on your well-being almost as strongly as a fall in your own. That is the social comparison machine, measured in a lab. This connects to something economists call the Easterlin paradox. Across a society, once basic needs are met, piling on more average income does not reliably make people happier. Because everybody rises together and the comparison resets. You ran up the escalator and the floor came with you. So here is the honest summary of the data. By absolute measures, the typical earner in a developed country is doing far better than almost any human in history. By the feeling in their chest, they are losing a race. Both things are true at once, and the gap between them is the whole game. Now here is the twist that reorganized how I think about all of this. You do not compare yourself to the richest person you know. You think you do not. Think about the genuinely wealthy person in your orbit. The one with the vacation house and the boat. Be honest, they do not actually make you feel bad. They feel like a different category, a different species. Your brain files them under fantasy, not failure. The person who wrecks you is the friend one rung up, the one who is just a little ahead, slightly nicer apartment, slightly newer car, the trip you almost could have taken. Because that gap is the only gap your brain treats as losable. That is the one it thinks you should have closed. Your mind does not torture you with the impossible, it tortures you with the almost, the near miss, the version of your life that feels like it was right there. That friend one step ahead is not a friend in this moment. They are a measuring stick your brain grabbed without asking you. And then now watch what this does over time. As your friend group gets more successful, every single person becomes a new higher rung. Your reference group drifts up. So the better your friends do, the poorer you feel, even as your own net worth is quietly climbing the whole time. Let me make that concrete. You could double your income over 5 years. Genuinely double it. And if everyone around you triple theirs, you would feel worse at the end than at the start. Richer in the account, poorer in the gut, same person, just a different room. Which means feeling wealthy is not only about how much you have, it is partly about what you choose to measure against. That is not a trick to lie to yourself. It is recognizing that the benchmark was never neutral in the first place. Somebody or something picked it for you. So what do you actually do about it? Not vibes, not just be grateful. Something you can run on a Tuesday. Here it is. You replace social comparison with self-comparison. You stop measuring against the friend one rung up and you start measuring against one person only. Past you. Step 1. Write down your net worth. Everything you own minus everything you owe. Cash, retirement accounts, the car, the home equity minus the debts. One number. It will take you 20 minutes with your statements. It does not need to be perfect. It needs to exist. Step 2. Compare that number to one thing and one thing only. The same number from 12 months ago. If you do not have last year's, then today becomes your baseline and you check again in a year. That is the only scoreboard that tells you the truth about your direction. Because here is what that does. It swaps an unwinnable race against a moving crowd for a winnable race against a fixed point. Past you cannot move the goalposts. Past you cannot post a vacation photo. Past you just sits there and lets you see whether you are actually moving forward. Usually. Step 3. Mute the inputs that spike the behind feeling. You know exactly which accounts they are. The ones where you put the phone down feeling a little smaller. You do not have to declare war on them. Just mute. The comparison machine needs fuel. Stop feeding it the highlight reels. And notice what I am not telling you. I am not telling you to stop wanting more. Ambition is good. Wanting a better life is healthy. I am telling you to stop letting a random sample of 5 people set the number you are chasing. Pick your own number. Race past you. Now let me be fair to the other side because I promised you honesty, not a pep talk. There is a real argument that comparison is useful. Ambitious people often got ambitious by standing next to someone doing better and thinking, I want that too. Comparison can be a spark, not just a poison. And it is true. Sometimes the friend one rung up shows you what is possible. They prove the next level exists. They give you a map. Pretending comparison is always toxic would be dishonest. Used right, it can pull you upward instead of dragging you down. I will give the other side that fully. But here is the line. Comparison as direction is useful. Comparison as a verdict is poison. Let your richer friend show you a road. Do not let them hand you a grade. The map is a gift. The grade is a lie because they are running a different race with different starting blocks you cannot see. So here is what I would actually do personally. I keep one number in a plain spreadsheet. My net worth. I update it 4 times a year and I compare it to the same quarter last year. That is the only number allowed to tell me whether I am winning. That is it. And when a friend's success genuinely lights me up, I let it. I ask them how they did it. I treat it as a map. But the second it curdles into that small sour behind feeling, I know that is not data about my life. That is the 100-year-old machine talking. And I close the app. I have gotten faster at telling those two feelings apart. And it is the single most valuable money skill I have, and it costs nothing. So here is the one idea I want you to walk away with. The feeling of being behind is almost never a fact about your money. It is a fact about your reference group. Change who you measure against, and a life that felt like failure becomes exactly what it actually was the whole time. Enough and growing. Your only honest benchmark is past you. Not the friend one rung up, not the highlight reel. Past you. Beat that person year after year and you are not behind. You never were. You were just standing in the wrong room, measuring against the wrong people. Do the boring thing this week. Write down your number, hide it somewhere, check it in a year, and watch how quiet your head gets when the scoreboard finally belongs to you. Regular people, real wealth, no gatekeeping. Subscribe to Slime's Wealth Academy, and I'll see you in the next one.